Answer Time with Todd and Aaron.
It's time for Q&A with TNA. By the way, that stands for Todd and Aaron.
we haven't done this thing in a while, so anyhow,
I know.
Maybe that's tonight. Maybe or
it's right there. It's right there. We're good on it. You know something I just noticed on that, and that I'd never noticed before, and so maybe it was there, and it just hadn't. But on those intro screens, was there a progress bar going across the bottom to show you when it was there? Did you notice that?
I'll have to take a look at that. I don't
if-
recall.
Throw
Because
the
you
30-second intro back up there, and you'll see a little blue progress bar going across the bottom of it. And I was like, "Whoa, that's something I haven't seen before." So,
Well, you can make banners scroll. Here, I'll show you that.
no, I know we can make banners scroll.
Oh, okay. All right.
I've done that, but I've
I
never
don't know
seen that.
about
So
a progress bar.
like on that video, on the countdown one, it's not that big of a deal because it's counting down on that. But on the video intro, there's a little bar and it goes right there to show you. Okay, so you're going to go. It was first time and it may have been that before, but I had never noticed that. But hey,
all right. Well, welcome in to Q&A with TNA. That stands for Todd and Aaron. You can find us at our success group, and you can also find Todd over at fatdadwholesale.com. So, Todd, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very well today, Aaron. How about yourself? How are you doing today, my little hummingbird?
The hummingbird, I love that. Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. I'm telling you, watch that on volley at 2 times the speed. Oh my God, it will give you a laugh. I smiled forever. So
it did. It did. I had to go back because then I forgot to change it off. So then everything after that was ×2 as well, which is even more fun.
Yes, it is fun. I normally listen to all the volleys at 1.5. There's some people where I have to slow it down, and there's other people where I have to speed it up, and it's fun that way. So, anyways, welcome in to Q&A, everybody. We want to say hi to everybody that's tuned in here. We've got Darren checking in much earlier, making sure that he was here. So thank you so much for doing that, Darren. And then Todd, your favorite, Chuck. Hello, sir.
What's up, Chuck?
And we've got Edward tuning in. He's eating a late breakfast at 5 p.m. here, so interaction might be slow. Okay. And I took a nap, and so forgot to post a question about the whiteboard. We can probably touch on that a little bit too, Todd. I believe. I think we got a pretty good understanding, maybe. But Edward, you can help us if we're off base. Intro clips showing time left. That would be cool. So yeah, we can work on something like that. Maybe in the yeah. Valerie said, "Hummingbird Aaron made me laugh too." So, David, you guys
That's
have
what I'm here for.
He's here for the entertainment. All right, and Todd, this one's coming. Which means Facebook user. So I wonder if we have this in the banners. I don't know if we do on this one. It's over here somewhere. If you will head to our success.group/Facebook, it should let you know who you are. If you're coming to us from one of the groups, typically that'll do it. Or if you're Todd and then just Facebook hates you, that happens.
Well, I think it's because I'm signed up for that creator fund, but that creator fund, funny because I wanted to see how that all worked, and I got hit with that copyright strike that shouldn't have been a copyright strike that I'm still fighting. So that was an interesting thing. But off of Reels, I made $200, so I thought that was pretty cool. That the goal was to put that right back into Facebook's hands, so to run ads with it, but. Once they hit me with the copyright strike and there's no way to battle, I'm like, screw you guys, it's my money now, my money. So we'll get everything squared away this week. But it put us in that creative fund or the professional mode, which allowed us to, you could make some good money off of your post and reels and things like that. And we were about 14 days in and we were sitting at $200, and that's when we got hit and they shut everything off and said we probably wouldn't see that money. And I'm like, oh, well, let's see what happens. And we stayed in it the full time, and hey, the money showed up. So, hey, it would be smart if they would turn that on, because like in my eyes, I'm thinking that's free money because it was just doing stuff I'm already doing and you were paying me for it. So now if it's working, wouldn't that just mean I should just take that money and put it back into Facebook, do ads, do things like that? So we get that, you put everything right back into it. It was there. It was free anyway. Why not, use it to grow the business? And hey, sorry about your luck, Facebook. You didn't really plan that one out too well.
Kind of like the Kohl's Bucks, where you get all that quote unquote free money, and then somehow you take your $10 and turn it into a $100 spend or whatever.
I like to call that the Menards racket. It's 11% rebate, but you can only use it for store credits. So you get the 11% off, but it's really, that every day it's 11% off. So now I get a credit to spend back there. I can't use it anywhere else. But, if you're doing a decent sized project, like when we did a store build out, I think we spent something like $2,000-$3,000 and stuff there, and 11% back. We get a rebate check that you could only use there for $300. But hey, it was still, I guess it's the joy of spending on stuff. I think I bought stuff for the grill that I wouldn't normally buy, but I'm like, it's rebate check. Let's do that. I think.
I love it. All right, Wendy, howdy. Thanks for tuning in, Wendy. And good afternoon, Michelle. Good to see you guys. All right, Todd. Well, we got some questions here today. What do you want to jump right into that, or anything else we need to cover before we get to that you can think of?
I think we're good. Good. I mean, we'll talk about stuff. We just talked briefly before the show started. We've got just a little over 2 weeks to DAX. When I did that last night, I had to double check because I'm like, that's not right. We've still got like almost 4 weeks. Yeah, I thought for sure. I'm like, it's that last weekend, and I'm realizing, wait, it's not that last weekend, so that means it's 3 weeks. And I look, I'm like, oh, it's like 2 weeks away. So it was fastly approaching. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, that last weekend, I've got another one, so I'm gone back-to-back weekends, putting some miles on the car. Kylene's picking up the car right now. We had to put new tires on it, so we've been putting some miles on it, and we're going to keep that trend going here. But we'll
very nice of them. It's almost, this would have been, if we could have, I don't know why the trade show people didn't talk to you and see about scheduling this. So it would have been great for you, because you go to Indiana there in July, usually somewhere around there. If we could have did DAX, and then you would have had the family reunion, and then went right to the next one. It would have just completed that circle for you. But nobody wants to listen.
That's what we did last year with DAX, man. It was just a nice big circle. It worked out great. Went up to Minnesota afterwards, and so we'll see if we can get them all coordinated. I don't know, for whatever reason they don't want to coordinate with my schedule. It's weird.
I don't understand that. I don't understand. Not
all right. Well, I was giving it away. I accidentally hit the button too soon. But so if you guys were fast readers, you maybe already saw the question. But since we are talking about trade shows, this works out perfectly. It says, I heard Todd talking about trade shows last night and would like to find one closer to me. I am in Tennessee.
Well, I know we had talked about it before, because, we've answered this question a few times, and I did last night as well. A lot of times you can go to your vendors and you can get with them to see, they'll have a list on their page of where they're at. I know at one time you were talking about maybe even having something on the Two Regular Guys page of where things, upcoming events were. But then it all comes to, people got to supply us with the information, because if we don't have that information, then we don't know about it. So that's the thing for there. So that's the first place I start is, find out from my vendors if there's somebody I want to see. Hey, where can I see you at? As far as Tennessee, I do know that Aaron's the only 10 I see. I love Tennessee for that. Yeah, I love it.
Wow.
Love Tennessee for that.
Gotta love Q&A.
There wasn't one before, was there? Was it? How much? I don't know much about this one. So fill us in. I know you know more about the one in Tennessee.
As far as shows in Tennessee,
yeah.
I mean, there's been some shows. Embroidery Mart used to have Nashville every year, and they have
Did NBM used to rotate through Nashville too?
NBM used to rotate through there. I mean, I love going to Nashville as far as the city goes. I hated doing shows there because they've got that beautiful new convention center, and it costs more to do a show in. It costs way more to do a show inside of Nashville than it did in any other location we ever went to. Like, it would cost more to get the stuff from the dock door to our booth when I was running some of these bigger trade show booths. It would cost more to get it from the dock door to our booth than it would to ship it back and forth across the country.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow.
So Nashville was always a tough show, but great place to go. Wonderful people and really obviously fun town. Trying to think what else has been in Tennessee in the past. So there is a show. It is called Everything Embroidery Market that is happening in Chattanooga. It's actually the week after DAX. So it's that next weekend, the very last weekend in April. And so Kylene and I are driving out to that one, and we're going to be doing some classes and stuff out there. So we can talk a little bit more about that in a second too. But you had mentioned, Todd, that one of the things I wanted to do was kind of get a calendar together over at Two Regular Guys at through the decorators community kind of idea. We have yet to do that, but we do try to keep a list of everything that we know of. And we always put them at the end of our show notes over there at tworegularguys.com. So I just put our most recent show notes up there. And if you scroll to the bottom of that, that will give you, as far as, again, the ones that we are aware of. So you've got, Graphics Pro Expo in Denver coming up. Then we got talked about Dax Tinley Park coming up. Everything Embroidery Market in Chattanooga, Tennessee coming up. Graphics Pro in Indianapolis in June. And then I've got Skills USA on there in June in Atlanta. Not necessarily a trade show, but something worth coming and checking out. Graphics Pro Meadowlands in NL. I think that's supposed to be NJ. Meadowlands, New Jersey.
Yeah, so I'd go
it's
with.
not in the Netherlands, so we'll have to correct that typo. Graphics Pro Expo in Long Beach in August. Impressions Expo in Fort Worth. Graphics Pro Expo in Charlotte in September. Sublimation Summit. Printing United out in Las Vegas. So
I'm pretty sure we're going to attend that. Printing United. I think that was one that Corey has never been to Vegas.
Oh,
so
wow. Yeah.
What better reason to go to Vegas than for a trade show and see the crazies? There's a couple shows that I want to see. And so I said, hey, maybe we just make a long weekend out of it and get married or something. I don't know.
There you go.
Something weird.
There you go. Elvis wedding couple or something. Yeah. It'll be a great show. In fact, I talked to the folks over at Printing United today. Two Regular Guys is actually going to have a booth there.
Very nice.
We got that all solidified. And so we'll have a booth, we'll have the blow up couch, we'll have a place to do recording and stuff like that. Plus, we'll also have a podcast area set up over in the apparel zone. So we're excited about being out there at Printing United. In fact, one of the questions from Facebook user here was, what's the biggest trade show in the US? I would have to say Printing United is it. I mean,
I have not been to one because the last one we were going to go to, I think the last two we're going to go to have been canceled.
Yep.
So it was, we were pretty gung ho about Florida. It was perfect time. Let's go. And that one did not work out well. So we'll do it here. Which anytime somebody's trying to plan something in the fall in Florida, it's not the greatest time of year. I don't know if anybody knows this or not. There's these things called hurricanes.
Yep.
And this thing called a hurricane season. And guess what it is? It's in the fall and it's in Florida. So
exactly. The problem is they have to do it during that time of year because it's the only time they can afford to go there.
Right. It's like that's when you take a cruise. Come on, let's go see what happens.
It's a hurricane. It'll be fine. We're in a big old boat.
We'll have to. So who is it? Somebody has the cruise.
The Decorators Cruise. Joseph.
Yeah. I know.
I'm
pretty sure.
I mean, he doesn't do it, but he's been part of it for a while.
I'm trying to remember who that was. It does. He.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I know what I know.
Well, I didn't. I knew it was somebody else, but I had no idea where to start. I mean, I never asked Joseph.
Yeah, I'm not sure who is putting it on, but as soon as I hear it, I'll be like, yep, that's exactly what it is. But that would always be, I think that would be a fun thing. We've done a couple group cruises, where it was, there was a couple hundred of us that went on something, and you kind of you set up your meetings and you set up your stuff. It was like maybe an hour or two each day where you made sure everybody got together. And I think the smallest group was like 50, and the biggest one I think was like 400. It was a ridiculous one on one of the big boats. But it was being in the different industries, and that was like, oh yeah, this is perfect. We got able to go do this, and then
cool.
Like my best one was a Bud Light one. That was an amazing one. Like it was a Bud Light cruise. Like it was
wow. Got
to see Dave Matthews, and I was legit front row for it. Hey, it was an amazing cruise. I'll do that all over again.
Yep. All right. Curtis, hello. Thanks for being here. And Jose, hello. Thanks for tuning in. Facebook user says, seems to be many regional shows. Yeah. The landscape has just changed so drastically because of COVID. And, Impressions wants to be more of a, I don't know, national show, but
Mhm.
even Long Beach, you were there, Todd, I know just for a short period of time, but you were there, and it was certainly smaller than
Mhm.
years past, so that's a challenge. And then the nice part about regional shows, though, is that they're going to be way less expensive for both the vendors and people coming in.
Mhm.
B, that intimate opportunity to get to, just have, like, I've been at shows where there's so many people there, and I'm in the vendor booth, and you've got like 5 people lined up to ask questions or buy stuff or whatever, and it's just, there's no way to make a connection or any
Mhm.
kind of relationship. It's
You're just a number.
it's like, let me answer that question. Can I scan you and get back to you? Next person, whatever. And so that's what I've always loved about the regional shows, is it just doesn't have that feel, right? You can talk to everybody. I feel like I get to know people.
Mhm.
At the DAX Kansas City show, on the last day, the couple that lives about a half hour from me out here in Troy, who joined the Our Success Group community, I bet you we spent a good hour and a half talking at the end, just about everything, right? He's a bowler, so we talked about bowling, but we talked about the business and all that stuff. So it was really, really cool. Somebody's calling me there.
And I think with that, when you try and be too much, you got to realize that, you can't. I think a lot of the reasons that, I'm not going to say trade shows aren't as successful as they once were, but I think there's so many more avenues that's now available, and a lot of companies have, really explored those and said, hey, we don't need that expense at the trade show. So something's going to have to change there. They're going to, either go to one big show and then that's the one everybody's going to attend to, or maybe bring prices down so more can go. I don't know, I don't know what the right answer is, because I love trade shows, and I've never been in an industry that did not have a trade show. It's crazy. There's there's an industry trade show for everything.
Yep.
Kim Johnson, great one, for what is it, for morticians? Is that the one that, and it's like, yeah, they're crazy. It's like there's trade shows for everything.
Yep. I used to do a log home trade show.
Yeah. And when you go to them, it's not so much what you are, what you're going to see in that, but the people that you meet. And we've met some of our best friends at trade shows because of those.
Yeah.
And that's what you go to. It's like a, mini family reunion. And that's why I like traveling, because we haven't done one on the East Coast yet, but, from Indiana all the way west, we've done it. And we've got different groups of friends that are in each thing. So, let's meet up and let's do this. Yeah, let's do that. So, even though Chicago's our home turf, and, it's always a great blast there, going just to get out to see the people. On my side, it's like to see the city, see the food, take it all in, there's a lot there. And I really wish that there was a way that we could get more vendors to attend and then more people to know about it to attend. Because I think that's the other thing too, is a lot of people just don't know. Like, we had a trade show here. It was a little regional one that was right across the river from us that a lot of us found out about after the fact. And it was like, what the hell? We would have known, what are these trade shows doing to get out there to know that everybody's going? I think they assume that, a lot of the companies that are going are doing their own push on it. But I think there's way more chance for exposure when you get into the niche groups, when you get into the decorators community, when you get in that and be like, hey, this is the things that we offer and we can do for you, and you can learn more information here. I think they can get in with some of those. That would really help them, just get that new people. Because like, even Long Beach, I hadn't been to Long Beach before. Corey had. And so, our experiences were completely different. When we went this year, I was like, wow, this is a pretty decent sized show.
Yeah.
There was still some stuff that was, there, you could still tell where people were supposed to be that weren't there, but overall, I'm like, it's not a bad showing. Corey's like, yeah, this is probably half of the show that it was, last time that I was here. She goes, there was a whole nother wing of it. There was, people everywhere. She goes, it was a completely different thing. But to me, that show, looked great because I didn't know what it was. And there's a lot more new people in the industry in the last 2 years that have no clue what this trade show world was prior to the pandemic. And so when they go and they maybe see 20, 30 people, but you know what? Maybe 25 of those vendors they'd never heard of before. And so it's all new people out there for them to see. So yeah, I just love the trade shows. I can't wait. We got Tinley here in less than 2 weeks. Yikes.
Yeah, pretty exciting. And you were talking about the size of the Long Beach here. Facebook user says, I was disappointed with the size of Impressions Long Beach. I mean, Impressions Long Beach, I think, was really tough because of the timing of it. It was, it just the timing of it being that early in the year and things were still so uncertain. I think a lot of people, dropped out and stuff like that. It definitely was a challenge for them. I think their Fort Worth show is going to be nice. I heard really good things about Atlantic City that they just got done with. So, I don't think that's kind of what you can come to expect for future Long Beach shows, because Long Beach is typically what I would consider the second biggest show in our industry, right behind the Printing United. And Printing United, I was mentioned that I talked to him this morning. I was looking at the floor plan with them today, and looks like they might. I don't know if they'll sell out because it's such a big space. Las Vegas Convention Center is so huge, and they've got the entirety of it. But I think it'll be pretty darn close. And that's pretty impressive to sell out a Long Beach Convention Center size show. I mean, you've got like a Hewlett Packard there with I think if I was looking at like 80 by 120.
That's
foot.
nuts.
I mean, it's just like, you could build a whole freaking city right there, Phil. Like, yeah.
Right?
So, you see you got that. And then looks like there'll be a nice international flair there too. So, I'm excited to kind of see that come back and I would guess that next year's Long Beach, barring anything new or a new variant or anything like that, will be much closer to what it used to be. Because Facebook user says, I was surprised. Went all the way to Long Beach and it's quarter size of a similar show in the UK, but you're correct. Less busy and a good opportunity and good chat. So you got to find that silver lining. I appreciate that you're doing that. But,
when I like Long Beach, when I look at that if I can throw some sports references out there, that is the Daytona 500, because that's kicking off the season. I think that's one where a lot of people release things at. They try and push to get it out there. And then Printing United is kind of the Super Bowl. You've had all season long, and now we're ending it with a bang. And that's kind of, those are kind of the bookends for it. Yeah. And the thing is that there is so much information there. Like I don't think I have been to a trade show yet where I haven't learned something, and that's to me, I think that's the takeaway. You take away that knowledge, and knowledge is power, man. Yep,
for sure. So it'll be interesting to see how it all goes, but I think all the signs are pointing in the right direction for trade shows. So Tina says I miss trade shows. Edward says
two of them. There's two of them coming up that Tina can make it to.
Yep, there you go. I was surprised how small Kansas City DAX was this year. Yeah, just again, everything's been so uncertain. And when you're doing as a vendor, when you're doing those shows, you're looking at stuff 6 months out typically. Now,
right?
Some people don't.
But. Well, and then the other thing too is look, the DAX was a weird one because those don't feel like they were that long ago, because they weren't that long ago. Because they just happened, at late in the year, compared to when they normally are. Yeah. So then it was like it just happened, and now it's here again already. So there was people, I think, that didn't do one or the other because it just was so close to the other one.
Yeah. But looking at DAX Chicago, it'll be bigger than Kansas City. So it looks like they sold out a lot more booth spaces, not a bunch more, but it'll be smaller than a normal Tinley, but I think still pretty good.
By my number, I had that there was about 5 more than the last time I looked, because they opened up another row. So I was like, all right, awesome. Cool.
Good for them.
Because I remember
there's room for little monkeys then.
Well, no.
Okay.
Listen here, Birdie boy. Listen here. We're 2 weeks away.
You got plenty of time. It's 2 whole weeks.
I think my first DAX that I went to, when I first went to that one, to me, it was an amazingly big show, for what it was, because I didn't realize how much the industry was there. Then, of course, you go to, an NBM and you go to an impression show, like, holy shit, there's way more on this, like crazy. But it was, they kind of had it split in the center, because they had that stage in the center, and then they had, the one half of full, and then they had the other half. So it's kind of nice. And then you had the rooms down along the way. Good little place to have it at, Tinley Park. Not much to do there. You can go into the city, but
find a way to have some fun.
A little jaunt into the city, depending on traffic. It could be quick, it could be long.
Yeah. I've always avoided that, but
there's the last time, it was in, not this past time. Last time, one of the times that we went, Kelly had never been like Chicago proper, been in and out of there, but here, you know, like to go in and visit. We're like, well, we're up here. Your flight doesn't leave, so let's go explore the city. So that's what we did, you know. And it had been, I hadn't been a tourist in Chicago for a while, you know.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh yeah, let's go. So here we're going over to Navy Pier, and here we're going to see the Bean, and oh, here we're going to this restaurant and there, and then yeah, it was it was at one time I remember I watched him asking me if I was okay because, you know, I was moving so much, you know, and it wasn't used to me moving that much. Like, Fatty, are you okay? You know, here's your heart rate. You know, are you doing good on this? But it was a gorgeous day out for it, and we had a ball with that. But I think, you know, if you're able to explore a little around where it's at, go for it. Tinley, not much there, but there's a good hotel bar, and then there's B-dubs across the street. So, you know, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Yep. It's a fun little show, and we will have fun. It's where our success group was born. We celebrated the 300th episode of Two Regular Guys podcast there 2 years ago. We just had episode 444 last week. Yeah. So we keep doing it for some reason. So
yeah.
All right. Another comment here. We'll see you guys in Vegas. And a Facebook user. A big issue was the lack of Asian stalls due to COVID possibility. It has really affected FESPA expos. Yeah, that's a good point. I think that's a really good point. And those shows are crazy. Some of those FESPA shows that I've been to, Todd. Oh my God. So we talk about Las Vegas having the full convention center filled out. Some of the FESPAs I've been to have been 3 full halls, the Vegas size halls, 3 of them.
Really?
And, I mean, in fact, I don't know if it's changed, and it's been a while. So when I first started doing them, they were 5 days. And I know people who were like, yeah, I couldn't see everything in 5 days. Now, being a vendor there for 5 days was like hell. Oh man, I was like, wanted to take a nap for like a month, but anyhow, so FESPA is really cool too. You get to see how big like the worldwide decorating industry is, so that's really cool. And they move that around to different spots in Europe, so that might be a bucket list thing for folks. I would say
that's why not. Now it becomes a business expense, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very sore feet, Facebook user says. So, all right, can we talk real quick about that Tennessee show?
Yeah.
Talked about it, and I wanted to just share because I'm actually really excited about it. I had an opportunity to do a live. Was it last week? I don't know. Time flies when you're having fun. So last week, this week, something like that. It was last week with Christina and Hope, who put on the Everything Embroidery Market, and I get to do some classes there. I get to be on a panel with some awesome people. Like Lisa Shaw and Nikki and Lisa Potts. And so I'm really excited about that trip. I've never been to Chattanooga. I don't know have you ever been to Chattanooga, Todd?
When I was a young lad.
Okay. All right.
There was, I think it was something to do with baseball. There was,
gotcha.
That's why I was there. But I mean, not enough where I can remember it, you know, like, I know we did a lot of stuff, but that was one thing we'll make it back there.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. If you guys want to check it out, it's over at everythingembroiderymarket.com, kind of everythingembroiderymarket.com. So so here's what I think it's going to be. And I've never been, so this is just my guess based on the people that I know and what I've seen. I think you're going to have a nice mix. It's going to be a little bit kind of crafty. There's some people that are there just to kind of do the shopping and networking and some of that stuff. But I think there's also going to be a nice mix of business people. It's not all embroidery. There's lots of sublimation people. There's vinyl people there, white toner people there. So I think you're going to get a really nice mix, but it's going to give you that more small, intimate. I don't have a great word for it, Todd. I keep wanting to say crafty, but that's not exactly what I'm trying to say. Just that smaller, not big, huge businesses. You're not going to have the
cottage business.
Yes,
right?
Cottage business. There you go. Perfect. I love that. That's exactly it. So thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really excited to check it out. We get to do some classes there, and so I get to talk some success principles plus other stuff, and just a really good time. I'm looking forward to doing that show.
And see, me when I read it, I think Everything Embroidery Market. I think that's what it is. It's everything embroidery. I don't think that there could be a possibility of other stuff out there. So that is one of the, we've talked about that before, about when you kind of put your thing out there, then that's what you become known for, and it's hard for people to realize, hey, you can do other stuff, because it sounds to me like it's going to be like a typical trade show, just on a smaller scale. There's going to
Yeah.
be something for everybody there.
Yeah.
So it would, I think if you're in that area, go to it. There's no
Yeah.
reason not to go to it.
Yeah.
And I know a guy who has a class, and his wife has a class too, if I'm not mistaken.
5 classes actually. So you might get tired of us.
5 classes.
You might get
5
tired of the
classes.
Montgomerys by the end of it, but we promise we're going to give you everything we got. So, yeah, no, I agree. I think Christine and Hope actually took it over this year, and they've actually, I think, I don't know the name, not making a name change, but they always just call it EEM.
Yeah.
And so I got to start calling it that, I think, too. I think you're right. Just calling it Everything Embroidery Market, it does kind of think that you're limited, but no, I think there's going to be a lot of different things there. So,
yeah, because I think the same thing, about Sublimation Summit, where, hey, that's what you think it's going to be is nothing but sublimation. There turned out to be, other things there as well. So,
you've got
when you
vinyl,
put
white
that,
toner.
what you're doing in it, then, I think, and then people get there like, oh, I didn't know that this was going to be a part. I didn't know that this was here. So that's where some of the traditional trade shows do have a leg up for sure, because they are not niched down like that. Here's what we're going to do. Decorated apparel. Right. Okay. That's what you got.
Well, that's 2023, the Decorators Community Retreat, I think will be a nice little fun get together. Just throwing it out there. Texas, possibly. Yep, absolutely. I haven't actually told you this time. We'll just have a little chat on live video here.
Okay, cool.
A friend of mine who is the CEO of this, like it's doctors, but it's a specialty niche area, and like osteopath or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is. Anyhow, she's a friend of mine that I've met through the Success Principles. She's a Success Principles trainer as well. And so she's the CEO of this organization, but really what they do is kind of like Printing United, where they have the industry show every year.
Okay.
And so she coordinates that and does all that. And the business she's trying to start on her own is that she's going to coordinate and do retreats for people.
Ooh.
So I've already talked to her about it, and she's on board and ready to go, and said, you tell me when and where, and we'll make it happen. So
it is happening in 2023. We decided October, didn't we?
I think we were talking September, October, probably October, but we'll have to take a look at what other dates and stuff. We definitely don't want to step on anybody else's toes.
No, because I think we were trying to sandwich it between stuff. We were trying to sandwich it between Fort Worth and then wherever Printing United was going to be.
Yep. Sandwich it in there. Maybe even the week after Impressions Fort Worth or something like that, because we have an in with somebody down there just outside of, well, it's not just outside of New Braunfels, Texas. So that's kind of what we're thinking. It's a fun little resort kind of town, and they've got the Schlitterbahn there, I think is what it's called. Maybe it's been renamed now or not, but it's a water park.
Sure. Is that the one that kills people?
Maybe.
That was, I think isn't that the one where somebody
I think that's probably why they changed the name. So
that got decapitated.
As a kid, I'm still alive. We're fine.
Yeah. Could you honestly do like 1/10 of the stuff you did as a kid now and expect to live? No,
Well, but it'd all be the same. But yes, no, everybody would be so freaked out now. But before, everybody was like, "What? There's kids around? Oh, get another."
Yeah. You let them play with the snakes. Here's some firecrackers. Go have fun.
All right. Ready for the next question? I think we've spent 30 minutes on that one. We're good.
Yeah, that's what we do.
All right. Is there an easier way to make graphics and posts for the various social media platforms we use? It just seems so time consuming.
Well, if we would all petition for them all to use the same format and ratio, then yes, 100%. Because I am totally on board with this, because it gets consuming to do all this. So a couple of things that I do is we'll start on the post side of things.
Yep.
So I schedule a lot of posts. I use Buffer to do that. And it's been hit and miss the last couple months. And I think that's because of the Facebook profile that I was using. But for the most part, I spend, an hour or two a week, schedule out my posts for the week, and then it just posts them for me. So
nice.
That definitely saves time on that. And then on graphics, Aaron actually converted me to Canva because of the ease of it. And I didn't want to go there because being on this side of it, I had so much bad artwork come from Canva. I'm like,
Yeah.
why do I want to go make garbage artwork? Like, I don't understand why. And then when no, dude, just go into it with an open mind. And I didn't. And I was like, wait, so I can create this one image, and with very minimal effort, it will go ahead and I can use it for Instagram and Facebook and every other platform I want to use. Oh, and if I want to create a flyer with it, I can do that. And if I want to use the graphic and email, I can do that. So it really opened my eyes to, hey, this is just not some garbage, design program. There's actually a lot of power behind it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have found that to be really helpful. Those two.
Yeah. I've enjoyed Canva. And like you were talking about, I just felt that it was easy. And let's just make sure that we're really clear here, Todd. We're not suggesting that you get rid of your CorelDRAW, you get rid of your Photoshop. Those are graphics program. The question here is, how do you make graphics quickly for social media platforms, because it seems so time consuming? And that's what I've loved about Canva is it's such a great tool to do that. Their templates are like, easy to use. It's got lots of like every single graphic that we make for all of the Two Regular Guys podcasts, Small Business Saturdays podcasts, all the covers we have for all the Our Success Group stuff, it's all out of Canva. And I can, like, we have a new guest coming in. I upload their picture in there. I can hit a button that's remove background, and it does that. I could take it out and do it, but just eliminating all those steps, right? I'm just hitting a couple buttons, making a couple changes, changing some colors. And then, like you said, I can have graphics for every single place that I need to put it.
Right. One of the things that I've really found useful with it is, I know I can't be the only one that's ran into that creative block, that's what happens. You're like coming up, I'm not even sure I don't even know what is coming up next, President's Day holiday, whatever. But I know if I go to Canva, it'll have me a template for a flyer for something coming up.
Yeah.
And so I'm able to go there and, I would have never thought of how that's there, oh yeah, okay, yep. And then, so it's simple plug and play. Here, let me put my information in there and we're good to go with it. Now, the downfall to that is so can everybody else. So, I kind of look through it a little bit further. I don't stay on that first page unless it really jumps out to me, because that's what everybody's doing, is staying on that first page.
Oh, speaking of that, can I tell a quick story about that real quick?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So I won't name names. It doesn't really matter, not in our industry, but I just happened to be on somebody's website, and they had a little lead magnet that said, put in your information and you'll get a daily planner page, our daily planner page. So I put it in, I got the email, I downloaded it. And as I came up, the name of it was still the Canva template name. I'm like, oh, come on, at least change the Canva template name. I mean, and then when I searched for daily planner page on Canva, it was the very first one at the very top that everybody else in the whole wide world is using. And I'm like, so that's, yeah. We're going to talk about that actually next Wednesday, Todd.
Yes.
By the way.
Yeah. We have it is 7 p.m. Central.
Yep.
I don't know why I threw that one off. So 7 p.m. Central Time, we do have a class on Canva. If you're interested in signing up for it, you can actually do that for only $5 through, Club OSG. I think Aaron has the link for it. But Canva is more, to me, on the business side of it. I'm not going to be using that to design customers' artwork, shirts, things like that. Where I am going to be using that, and where we have been using it, is those quick ready-made templates, flyers, social media posts, things like that. Like the other day, when we did a gift basket for someone, I was like, I don't know why that is so difficult. I'm like, oh, what should this gift card look like? That shouldn't be a difficult thing. But I'm just like, what I do? I went to Canva. Oh, look, yeah, let's just use that, because it was printed out. It was going to that. So it saves time, and time's money. So anytime you can save time, you're saving money. And I think there's, somebody told me when we talked about it yesterday on my show, that Canva, it was either a 4 or 6, that they were worth $40 or $60 billion.
Wow.
Because of there. And when you look at the amount of people using it, what they're using it for, because they have free side, which is always great, but they have a paid side that there's so much more that you can do with it. It's definitely something that, it's just another tool in your toolbox, right? And for me, yes, I can create the design. I can,
Yep.
here, okay, yep, we're going to do this. But if I'm just looking for their simple graphics to be able to run, a promo for, I need to put something in the email and push it through. Really easy to jump into Canva, hit the template of what I want, and then it can format it. Just, I can't wait to talk more about it. It's definitely a good thing.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that inside of our success group training, the monthly training that we do. And that's, like Todd said, happening next Wednesday at 7 p.m. I ran the Club OSG thing over there. I actually want to give this group, the people that took the time to tune in here to Q&A, I'm going to give them even a better deal potentially. All right. So
Cool.
just hang tight. We're going to,
Okay.
but here's what I'm excited about, Todd. Like I said, we're not going to be talking about this as a way to replace your graphic design programs and all of those stuff. We're going to talk about how to use templates, some of the tips that we've already shared, but how do you get in there? Like you said, time is money, right? So you can get into that. We're going to talk about social media posts and using their templates and why that matters. And because you could just, like Brian has here, you're not just using a 1080 by 1080 size template in Photoshop or Illustrator. You could certainly do that, but when you actually format it for the size that the social media sites like, that there's a better chance they're going to be seen and it looks better and people will actually stop on them, and their sites are laid out for a certain size. So
yeah.
And then things don't get cut off either. So we're talking about that. We're also going to talk a little bit about the difference between the free and the paid version. Like Todd mentioned, there's a free version, and you can do a lot of stuff with the free version. Yeah. It's really powerful, but there may be, if you use it enough, it may be worthwhile to take a look at the paid version. So we'll show you both sides of it and show you what you can and can't do on both sides and all other stuff. And then we'll have some action items and an implementation call the week after that. So that's upcoming for OSG. Now, Todd, I mentioned that I was going to give this group here because you've taken the time to tune in, right? And Chuck hit the nail on the head here. It is a marketing tool. Absolutely. It's 100% a marketing tool, not a design tool, right? Yeah. I saw a post on Facebook today, somebody kind of upset about the fact that they get so many Canva graphics that, and they're doing things where they need a vector graphic file. And so they're getting all these free Canva version graphics, right? So
it is bad. We get a lot of that where it comes through, and the best one is we had a that we've dealt with is we've got a dance studio that we work with. We do their printing. They send us the artwork, and here, are you able to do this? A lot of their stuff is their logo. And maybe we're just adding some text to it, like recital, or maybe doing a color change or adding some sparkle stars, nothing crazy. So they designed something new. And she said, hey, are you able to work with this? And they said, well, I said, if you can get me the vector art on it, yes, we can definitely work with this. And she said, okay. So she said, I'll get with the designer and I'll get that over to you. Because, a lot of times, a client, they're not getting the correct artwork from their designer.
Yeah.
And so lo and behold, it was their designer sent over the file. It was all Canva stuff, Canva, and I just wanted to be like, how much you pay for this? Because I'm like, you could do this for free. It's right there. It's like,
you get with my designer who's using Canva. Come on now.
it's like, the people, that, they're the designer, and, when they send you the mock of the shirt, it was from Custom Ink, and they forgot to, clip out that part that says Custom Ink on it. You're like, oh, so yeah, I know what you're going to do here. So there's a lot of fun in that, and it can be very frustrating. And so, it's my job to do that, to be like, hey,
educate.
Here's what we need. Here's why we need this. Here's what this looks like. We're doing a different method. We need this. If I print it this way, this is how it's going to look. And I know there's been a lot of issues lately with people sending out transfers to other places and artwork just being bad. And a good majority of those people, they're just printing as you upload. They're not going through anything, and that's not on the printer, because I think every one of their websites say, print artwork will be printed as submitted. Yeah. We have that on ours. Very rarely do I let that happen. I know we've got probably I think 2 came in right this, so we're probably down to 8 jobs that are in our queue right now where the artwork is bad, where there's backgrounds on stuff, and if we print that, it's just going to be a big white box, and I know better than that. But
Yeah.
I know if they went to other places that they would just get printed that day and they'd have a sour taste in their mouth on it. So
Yeah.
do my best to help with that. But yeah, Canva is definitely a creator of headaches, for some. And maybe they need to have a disclaimer that says, hey, this is what you can do, and somebody needs this, you can't do that. But it's been great.
I'm sure if you really, really tried hard, but I mean, then you're using it for something that it's not, right? Then you should be using a tool like Corel
Yep.
or Photoshop or Illustrator or something like that.
Yep.
So, yeah, whole different world. Brian's comment here, I think, is probably falls in line with what we're talking about here, right? I did a speed networking event once and got 5 business cards from different businesses, but the same design from an online printer, right? So
Vistaprint, baby. Vistaprint. Yeah, I can always tell those cards.
Yep. And it's Canva. Just FYI, I don't know if it's spelled like this. No, it's Canva. And then Wendy says, I just love people who design their logo in Canva, then don't know how to export the correct file. And that is the problem, right? So we're talking about using it for something very specific and how we can know what's going on and using it that way. But lots of people are using it, and the free version, it has its limitations, and that is not print ready art, right? You just can't make print ready art like that. Even if I have kind of pseudo, like occasionally there'll be something where it's like, it's just, I've already made like a social media graphic or something like that, and I want to print a shirt of it, right? I've done that with my couple of my success principles sayings, right? But even when and I've got the paid version and I do all the right settings and stuff like that, so I have the right size and all, and the transparent background and stuff like that, I still bring it into Photoshop and make it ready to be printable and clean up what needs to be cleaned up. So that's what we're going to be talking about next Wednesday. I mentioned that I was going to give a shit artwork is a daily occurrence.
It is. And a lot of people don't know any better. A lot of this business has changed in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
We've had more new people start, in the last 2 years than probably if I said we've had more new people start in the last 2 years than start in the last 10 years, I don't think anybody could argue with that, because of how many, a lot of people took those stimmy checks and they're like, hey, I'm going to start a business because I'm at home. And, a lot fell out, but a lot, they just ran with it and you know what they did? They changed the way we did business. They broke the rules because to them, they didn't know what they were doing. They're like, yep, we can do this. We can do that. So there's been so much innovation and such fast moving things in the last 2 years, and people thinking outside of the box, trying new things, that this is something that, hey, we're able to do this. And can they get away with it? On a lot of things, yeah.
Sure.
They're just printing from their computer and they're doing sublimation, and anything goes with that. If I can print it, I can press it. And that's what they thought, if I can print it, I can press it. Not realizing, well, now I need it as a banner, and this is not going to work for this. Hey, now I want transfers. This is not going to work for this, And so there's a lot more to it. But what that did is it made other people think about how they're doing their business and how can we tap into that? How can we help people, that aren't doing the best with the artwork, because they just don't know. And I know from when I got started, 15 years ago, that I felt this big, when I talked to other people, because like, oh, you're using HTV, you're not a real printer, you're not doing screen printing. And I was like, what the hell, man? I can make shirts just as well. You're not making anything less than, at that time, 36 pieces. So what do you expect people to do, right? The transfers weren't a huge thing yet. It wasn't, you were still paying, a decent amount to get them. So you went to vinyl, and that's what we got our start in. And so I said, one of the things, and that's how this came about, was I want to be able to help the people along that are going to not have those same stumbling blocks I have, because I was there, made to feel this big about stuff, and you're not this. What the hell do you mean I'm not? You're not a real business unless you're doing, $1 million in sales. Whatever. I know plenty of people that do $3,000 a year in sales, and it pays for their vacation. They're happy as can be with that. So to me, once you make that sale, your business, it doesn't matter how much you have to make, and be proud of that. Don't let anybody tell you you're not. And I'll get off that horse, because we could go on an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I don't know if we got enough time left tonight for that, but all right, good stuff there. So Todd, here's the special I wanted to give folks that are tuned in here to Q&A. So we talked about Club OSG, and I love Club OSG because I think it's a great way to get in. We consider it kind of the DIY space, right? Where you get the training, but there's a big part of OSG that's just not part of it, right? You're not ready to kind of
Yeah.
make that full commitment yet. So what I love doing is I love getting people into the OSG squad part of this, which is our main community. And when you're in that, you've got access to all of the past trainings. As long as you're a member, you get access to our 5 Keys program. So we found that a lot of people we get to work with, we go, hey, you know what? I get what you're going through right now. Let's just save you a ton of time. Just go back into the 5 Keys, go to key this, module that, and they're like, oh, yep. And then all the resources are right there. And we've got a private Facebook group, and so just all sorts of wonderful stuff that gives you a little bit more support, gives you a little bit more help and feels. So with that being said, if people want to check it out, we've got, like I said, the Canva thing coming up. I threw this together, and I'm gonna hit it here.
I'm on the edge of my seat because I have no clue what he's doing, folks.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even tell Todd about this yet. So if you just go to oursuccessgroup.com/sale, you can get into the OSG squad for, ready for this, Todd?
I am.
$1.
Oh, shit.
You know what? I just said, you know
Go
what?
for it.
This is because here's the deal. When people get into it, they see how the return on investment is for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's $79 a month after that. There's no commitment. So you can be in it for a month and then cancel, and we'll say, thanks for being here. And we appreciate it. And hopefully we can help and support. Right. So with Club OSG, it's $5 for that first month, and then it's $19 a month after that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's a big difference once you get to month 2. And I get that. And I hope that we can show you that it's an investment. I have no, like, if you cancel right away, I'm going to ask you, how can I help you more? Right. We're not going to be like, oh my God, we're going to try to hard sell you into staying. I mean, it just, A,
It's not us.
It's not us. We're not good at it. B, who has time for that, right? We if we can help you, we're going to help you. So I just said, you know what, Todd, tonight, this is kind of cool. We get to talk about some things that we love doing. We've got Canva. Next month, coming up after that, there is the next training. In fact, I just got all the details from the guy today. So it's confirmed, all set in stone. The gentleman that is going to come on and talk to us about automation. And so using things like Zapier or if this, then that, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I asked him, can you help me kind of like describe how you see this going, what you see the training looking like? And the title he came back with, I was like, oh, damn. So let me try this on for you, Todd. How much does it cost you an hour to be in business?
$125.
$125. If you were to multiply that by 100, what would you have?
125. Oh, 12,500, right?
Yep, 12,500. Yeah. So he is claiming that he can show us how to use these automation tools to get 100 hours back out of our business.
I do not disbelieve that at all.
I don't either. I know he can do it because I've seen some of the stuff that he does, and I know how automation works. I'm trying to use it more and more for our success group. But to be able to have that coming up, so that's our May training.
Yeah, because that's 2 hours a week it saves you, which is that's what 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes a day that it saves you. So when you think about it, like, God, I know I could do stuff to save 20 minutes a day if I could just, like, on my end, just setting up, the automation part of 20 minutes counting down, just setting up some of my posts and some of that. I struggle with that. And since there's no real good information, like, there's always bits and pieces of everything, right? We've always done that where I'm like, I just feel there's just something missing, and you try and ask questions and nobody really wants to answer. So I cannot wait to be sitting in the audience for this one, because I think this will get, this is worth $12,000 to me. So let's go.
Yeah. This guy, his name's James Rose, and he is a automation engineer. He's got a degree in automation engineering. Now he has since gone on and created a software tool for content curating as well. But I found him on YouTube actually looking for more information about this as I was trying to set up some stuff. And I'm like, I followed his YouTube video and was like, oh my God, I have used Zapier for a long time. And this was the easiest I ever got from point A to point B. And so I just like, you know what? I'm going to reach out and ask him. And he's like, I'm in. When do you want to do it? So I'm totally stoked about that one. So anyhow.
And that's a perfect example. You don't know if you don't ask, right?
Yeah.
You got to ask, if you want, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're going to be in the same spot you were before you asked. What's the best thing that's going to happen? You're farther along. So no, ask,
for
be an asshole.
Be an asshole. I love it. All right. Let's see here. There's a couple comments up. Mo said, totally worth it. Awesome, Mo. Thank you for that. Mo is doing some incredible, amazing things. And that's the other part, Todd, I guess I didn't talk about enough. The community there in OSG. I mean, every day I just, every chance I get to talk to them, we talk on Volley, we talk in the meetings that we get to have, and the implementation calls, the 5 Keys office hours calls, all that stuff. I'm like so inspired every time. Like I just want to do more. I know you feel the same way. So it's really cool.
What I love is in the master success level, seeing every other week, just getting together and seeing some of those goals that have been crushed way sooner, but then to see those problems being solved, because in that one, it's like you do have those business partners in your back pocket. You have your team there to help you out with stuff. And we're looking at making some changes on that are going to, I believe, help out even more and create even more value for people. And for that, the new one, new season, new session, that starts on Monday. So I can't wait for the new members that are coming in for that. And I'm sure there's still probably time if you wanted to sign up for that. Aaron would squeeze you in and create some room. But that's coming up there, and I'm super excited about it. I love those every other week meetings. And sometimes even the best part is just at the end, what are you grateful for, and some of the good things that come across there, because it's always something fun. There's always great content and information in it, and I think that you're getting a ton of value out of it.
Yeah,
and it's really not that much. It really isn't in comparison to things.
Correct.
And in fact, at $125 an hour, if I'm saving 100 hours, then that more than pays for
you
the
could be in a couple times, actually, I think, at that rate. I agree with you, Todd. The Masters of Success level is definitely, that's my breakthrough goal. That's my biggest goal, is I want to help support, we want to help with our success group, support over 1,000 business owners through the masterminding program, because I truly believe in it. I actually get to lead masterminds for Jack Canfield, and our format is, I think, okay, don't tell Jack I said this. Our format's better than what Jack's format is.
Well, I think Jack would appreciate that.
People into it.
I think Jack would appreciate that, because we always teach because we want people to be better than what we are. So Jack, to me, I think would totally agree with that.
And he might, but they have their way of doing it, and I like it, and they get in, and we're going to take on some of those things, but the way that we do it came from him, right? So this is kind of the big picture of it, because there's a very specific way that masterminds work, right? There's a lot of people out there calling things masterminds, and that's okay. I'm not trying to talk down about them or anything like that. But there's a very specific formula, and I think we've got it really dialed in. Is every meeting 100% great? Not necessarily, but is every meeting the best possible format it could be in? And as long as everybody plays full out, wow, we see some incredible things. So really cool.
And I've heard from other people in other ones that they said, it was more of a social session, and they're like, I'm not really getting anything out of it except to hear somebody piss and moan and whine about something else, or what another vendor's doing, or how they're trying to get screwed over by something else, and how it really became all about the singular person that was putting it on, and they felt like all they were really doing was feeding their ego, wasn't really getting much in return. And it's like, well, God,
or when the host talks the whole time.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
And me, I'm like, we're pretty quiet. We just, I love it, because then that's, when they go to their breakout sessions, that's me and Aaron's time to reconvene on it. So we
mastermind ourselves. So there we go. Yeah. All right, cool. I don't want to bury that too deeply, but anyhow, one more time, guys, if you are interested in checking that out before next Wednesday, hit oursuccessgroup.com/sale. I'll keep that up through the end of the week here. So
works for me.
All right, cool. And Edward says, I have a Canva account, but no subscription yet, trying to shut off other bills to free up some money. I would say I don't think you need to have an account. We'll talk about it a lot more on Wednesday, and we'll get into the, there's certainly some things that you can do with it at the paid level, but I can't remember. Todd, are you paying for it? Did you say that or not?
Yeah,
you still doing the
I
free?
am, because there are some of the things that I want to do, but
Upgrade
I think for overall, because I know where Edward is in his business and what he does. The free one I think will do just fine for him. And we'll be able to talk about what those differences are. So I think you'll be fine, that you'll see that, okay, if this then that, if this then that, if this is what I want to do, then this is what I need to do. But I think for the big majority of it, a lot of that stuff can be done on the free side of it. So stop in, take a listen. You'll be there. We got you covered.
Yep. Yeah, Jerry says, I listen to at least one OSG replay or OSG live every day to learn each day. Awesome, Jerry. High five.
So, Jerry, thanks for that. Now, don't go back and watch the 5 keys, because apparently I was a lot fatter then. I learned that today. Actually, it made me feel really good, because,
But I was going to say, you were technically.
Yeah, I was, and I felt in, and so it was good to hear that. So now I'm going to go back and watch, because like I tell Corey, when you see yourself every day, you don't notice it. That's why when you don't see somebody for a while, and they see like, man, you really look good, or you've changed, or that. Hey, it's one of those things where you get to see yourself evolve that way. So maybe you should go back and watch some of our old videos.
Yeah. Mo says, perk of OSG Squad, Todd helped me with my garbage artwork. There you go.
And that was the thing, is it wasn't Mo's fault. A lot of times we all get sent stuff, and we don't know what's the best way to do it. So when we're all together in it, we're like, here, let's come up with a solution to this. And that's why I think I have the most fun at, is those solutions. And my solution is guaranteed not the best solution all the time. Apparently, the answer to everything is not throwing a bag of flaming dog shit on somebody's door. I mean, I think that solves a lot, but
it's not.
Apparently, it doesn't.
Over and over again, it is not.
But that's the thing, that's what I love about it, because it is a good, safe place where you can say stuff like that. And I mean, it's the emotional roller coasters that we've seen people have on too. We've went from where this is joyous, happiest to feeling like very vulnerable, and tears being shed in that. And it's just it's an amazing experience. So really not saying Art Meistermind is the best, but if you're not in one, you should join ours. But everybody deserves to be in one to better themselves and better their business. It doesn't have to be ours, but I would suggest ours.
Yeah. We just know we have the best
legit
agenda.
If you don't, you're getting a flaming bag of dog shit.
Yeah, just don't tell Todd you went somewhere else. All right. We've got one more question here, but I thought this was a good ask from Edward here that I wanted to slip in real quick. So, would Volley be a good platform to work with customers to finalize product designs? Go ahead, Todd.
Well, you were king of Volley, so I would say yes, because you could start up their own channel, right? Is that what you can start up your own channel just for that customer with them, and you can have.
You don't have to make a channel; it's just you have a private conversation.
Private conversation, and just go back and forth. Here's the artwork, here's the design, because then they can say everything that they're what they're wanting to change on it. So I think it would be a great thing. Another tool to be able to use for those lines of communication. So I think it would be.
Yeah, I love that idea. I never thought of that. And I think that's a great idea, Edward, because there are some tools inside of there too. Like you can screen share, right? So you could have your design program up and show them, okay, here's option A, option B, here's why I think this one's better than the other. And being able to explain that and for them to hear what you're passionate about and how I think there's so much value in that. And then the other side of it is, again, you could have that conversation back and forth with the visuals. You can upload files to it, so you could show them proof and stuff like that. So I think it's a really great idea. We use it inside of our success group too. I'm in the middle of a private conversation with one of our OSG squad members about some challenges that he's going through in his business, and we had emailed back and forth a little bit, and it just wasn't getting anywhere. Not for any other reason than it was just kind of a big thing to tackle. And so as soon as we were able to get on Volley and actually talk back and forth, I mean, we started making some great progress. I think he's going to make some big changes in his business that are really going to help. So in fact, the guy that I got this shirt from, Nick at 7 Bros Apparel. So
I like that shirt. I really do.
I do too. All right. Let's get to this last question here, Todd. And then because, it's only been an hour and 4 minutes. So.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Remember when we started these? We're going to be 15, 20 minutes tops.
Have we? Never mind. I'm not even gonna ask. I was gonna say, have we ever gone that
A half hour, I think, was the half hour. We're right about there.
Did we actually get one done in a half hour? Okay, so
I think it's because we had something going on. That's why.
yeah, we like had a hard stop. Yeah. All right. What are some must-bring items to a trade show?
Ooh, this is a good one. So I think I can't even say it depends on what you're going for, because that doesn't matter. Comfortable shoes, or in my case, comfortable flip flops. You need something comfortable on your feet because you will be walking. I think anything to take notes with, whether you're a paper and pen type person or you're writing on a tablet, something like that. Something to drink. A drink container of some sort. Yes, some of them
hydration drink too. By the way,
hydration drink. They do make these things called flask caps that go on top, and you can. But we'll talk about that at a trade show sometime.
Show up for the Buffalo Wild Wings for that.
Yeah, I think having something, having those, so something to write on, to take notes. I think the number one thing that people don't take to trade shows that they forget about. Aaron, here to take a guess. Here to take a guess.
Cards?
Business cards. That's exactly right.
I didn't mean to steal your thunder. I was my guess.
Yeah, there's so much, that when people are like, oh, let's see your business card or drop in here, that they don't have one.
Yeah.
The other thing too is, and I noticed this, I seen, people's videos from Atlantic City and that, and I saw a lot of people that I knew that own businesses, run Facebook groups, have podcasts and that I seen, and they were walking around and just because you see them in other people's video that were not wearing any of their stuff. Why don't you have your logo on your shirt? Why don't you have who you're showing your off for? Still, when I'll go to a trade show, there's people that as soon as they scan it, they see it, they know exactly who we are because they recognize our name, our business name, because we have, a very specific one. Yeah. So, people know who you are, recognize who you are. And if you're showing up in, just your Sunday fun day shirt, come on, put your business name out there, show off what your work can do. We want to see, I love seeing other people's stuff because to me, I'm like, oh, how'd you do that? What's that? Seeing that process, that when I see you just wearing, just normal stuff, I don't know. I'm like, take some pride in what you're doing. And especially if you're an influencer of some sort, just look in the space and see where you have a lot of the same people that are out there running their stuff. And, they are the influencers on it, and they always have something to do with their brand on them, whether it's a hat, a little left chest logo, a full shirt, something. So that way they're out there putting it, because you never know when you could be seen. You never know when somebody will be like, hey, let me bring you in here and talk. And then there's another opportunity for you to sell yourself. So put your stuff out there. And a lot of times, especially if it's on the video content, when you're talking to these people that are doing it, you can ask them for a link to where they're going to post it, and then you can use that as your own social media stuff. So that's why I always try to make sure to have something on, no matter where I am. Because what if a car decides to catch on fire out in front of my house, and the news shows up, and I'm there? Hey, look here! All right, now look, you got to be. It's like your survival kit is having your business branded on you. Yeah, always have it on you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wear OSG stuff 95% of the time, even when there's been weeks where I have not left the house. And I still, I do enough videos that it makes just a little bit, but like I put on my OSG socks nearly every day and nobody sees my socks, but if somebody asks, right, because that's been my thing, right? I've always kind of had decorated socks ever since I've gotten into the sublimation space. So
I couldn't tell you the last time that I didn't have at least one piece of apparel on that wasn't for one of our brands.
Yep.
I love how this hat turned out with the foam for the OSG. So that's been cool. my go-to. And since I did this early or late last year, it hasn't got, the sun sweat ring in it. So, it's still good. It's still good for now, but it'll probably give it another month. It'll be time to throw it away and get a new one. But yeah, t-shirts, hoodies, whatever. It's on everything we have. Anything that I can put a logo on, I'm putting a logo on. Yeah. Because you never know. And we've got a lot of business just being out in public. Hey,
and your drinkware and right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everywhere we've been out and see, I've got that on one side and then I've got that on another side. So it just really depends. But I always put as much stuff out there as we can because you never know when you're going to run into anybody. So having your business card, having your brand, having that stuff out there, those are things. Yeah, those are my things that I think. What else should people be bringing to trade shows?
And I think you hit them. Wendy's got if you're somebody that's a catalog collector, Which I think is good if that's what you're there to do. You know, you try to understand what's new and good and stuff like that. So having catalog, being able to, trying to lug around a tote bag with catalogs and stuff in it all day. Not fun. So wheels, bag on wheels, I think is a great idea.
Which does remind me, the great thing about OSG having a booth is, for community members, guess what? We kind of don't mind if you just want to set your stuff down. If you're tired of carrying stuff, we kind of make sure that you're taken care of on that too. So we do that as well. So
the OSG space is the OSG community space. We're there to hopefully meet new members, but we love having OSG squad come and hang out and put your stuff there. And we won't have the couch this year. I just don't have enough space for it. But like Todd said, come put your bags down. We'll have some little ottomans that you can sit down on and stuff like that. We may put you to work. We may ask you to, tell somebody about OSG, but I think you're probably going to do that anyway. So
yep. Okay. And I will totally put you to work. I'll put you to work.
Yeah. Brian, really good point here. Take photos and videos on your phone of everything. Yeah, I think that's a great point. Because, and Todd, you mentioned taking something to write with or take notes with. We think that I'll remember to read. No chance. After 3 days of everything and all the conversations you have, and maybe at night, maybe you have an adult beverage, you're not going to remember that. So I always have I've been keeping in my Google Keep, but I just always have just notes for this show, and it can be random. Make sure I follow up with so and so. Hey, next show, do this. I saw this cool person over there. I'd like to get them on Two Regular Guys podcast, or whatever the thing is. Just take notes of all that stuff, and then I guess this is not necessarily something to take to the show. But what I would also recommend people doing is making sure that you carve out some time, a day or two after the show, to just kind of decompress and figure out. You go to a show, you meet people, you learn stuff, you do all this stuff. If you don't put any of that stuff into action, then you just wasted that time, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So find an hour to just decompress, figure out what you're going to implement, what you learn, that kind of thing. So anyhow, go ahead, Todd.
When Brian said take photos and videos, something else that I thought of, if you were really serious about purchasing a piece of equipment at that show, take your files that are going to be needed on that equipment. So if you're looking at an embroidery machine, you're not sure, hey, get your file done. If you want a laser, get your files done, because it has always been my experience that they always show the best of the best, something that is going to do perfect every single time for them at a show. Because why would they show something that's going to screw up? How does that sell anything? So I can take my logo, show me what my logo looks like done out on this, because if there's an issue doing your logo with it, then at least they can explain to you, okay, here's what we need to do, because you're getting, some knowledge with it. And if you're seriously buying a piece of equipment, you're spending thousands of dollars on it, they're going to be there to help you with it, because they would rather take care of it there now, explain things, than when you're at home pissed off about this piece of equipment that you just spent thousands on, which is also another good reason, smaller shows gives that opportunity for, because, hey, all right, if we can help you through this and walk through that. I've seen more people than not, especially on the embroidery side of it, where they were sold on the, this magical thing that it's going to happen, and then realize how much went into it. Yeah. And they're like, oh, wow, it is not like sublimation where I can just print, I've got to do a lot more to it. That's why Aaron's getting embroidery and I'm not.
Yeah. I was just giggling about when you were talking about taking your logo to them too. When we were in Kansas City, my son fell in love with the Epilog laser, and the guy over there was so incredible. Just like my 10-year-old was over there bothering him a bunch, and he's a very well-behaved young man. So I did go over and just said, hey, if he's too much, send him away. It's no big deal. And he's like, no, he's great. And I actually love talking to him. He asks good questions. So, but I went off and taught a class, and I came back, and there was this wood sign sitting on the front of our booth with the OSG logo, burned into it. And I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? And my son goes, oh yeah, I got that from, I can't remember the guy's name now. I feel bad. Kevin. Anyhow, the guy over at Epilog. And I'm like, oh, okay. So what, did he grab the logo off of our website, or how did that work? And my son said, no, I went on your website. I downloaded it onto my iPad and I emailed it to him. I'm like, what? You're 10 and you're emailing logos to this guy selling lasers. But it was cool. I mean, and that was it, right? Like if it can't do your logo, if it can't do what you're trying to do with it, and they're not willing to do that on the floor, then make sure they have a good explanation, and that's education that you learn. But B, sometimes you got to watch out for that. If they're not willing to do that, then there may be something hiding that you're going to find out after the fact, and that's never the time you want to learn those things.
And sometimes, it is not going to happen. You got the auto printers and that they're not burning screens and doing things like that for you. Anything that is more really production oriented, where there's a process of it going through, to stop and do one, it isn't really there. But
digital decorating stuff, for sure,
a lot of stuff they're more than happy to. And I think that's kind of like that hidden secret, where they'll be happy to, because when they do that, they know it's going to perform great. And what better thing to do? Here, I can show you selling our stuff, printing this. Yep. But now here, I'm pulling Aaron up out of the stands. I'm like, you're going to buy one. Let's show you what. And now the other people are interested in me, like, now they're doing somebody else's artwork. Let's see. And like, oh, that wasn't too bad. So this works out really well. Let's do it. And the thing that you really got to remember is be serious about buying the equipment. You're like, don't be going here to here to here to here just to get your free shit. Okay. No, if you're asking a question, and a lot of them, hey, it's not something I'm looking at buying, today. It's something I'm looking at buying in 6 months. And that I just want to see what it can do, what it can't do, where I need to be budget wise. And that's the other thing. I had a talk with somebody about. They say they paid cash for all their equipment, and I asked why, and they're like, because I don't want a payment. I'm like, okay, so how long is it going to take you to save this money? And they said 3 years. I said, so logistically speaking, in my head, when you buy this piece of equipment, it's going to start producing money for you, right? And they're like, yeah. I said, so shouldn't that be producing enough money to make its own payment? So now you're not spending that $10,000 on this piece of equipment. The equipment's paying for itself, and now you have that $10K there for a rainy day. So what happens when you pay that, and then something goes out and you need it? So sometimes credit is king. And as much as I was always a cash guy, I started really looking at it and I was like, why am I doing this to myself by saying, I need to pay cash for it all? I can use that cash to generate more revenue. The equipment's going to make the revenue, make the payment and revenue on itself. So don't think, that you need to save up the cash for it. And there's a lot of great financing companies that you'll see at these places that will most likely be able to work with just about anybody. So it doesn't hurt to ask, it doesn't hurt to ask.
Yep. For sure. All right. Well, hour and 17 minutes in, I think we've covered what we need to cover. Valerie, as we're talking about how Q&A has progressed, said, but you've matured because I don't see you guys taking a drink after saying a catchphrase.
That's true.
I don't remember what the catchphrases were anymore.
Anytime
my dad's an accountant.
Yep.
My wife's chiming in from the cheap seats over here.
Yeah. You've got a couple good lead-ins that you do, your segues, that I think those got us too.
Oh, there's a ton of those. Yeah.
And
every time I go and edit my videos, if I'm recording something to put out, like when we were doing the 5 keys and stuff like that, oh man, the editing, you just sit there in horror of like, and so are all of my fillers.
I'm sure Val she probably has a list of them, because it was probably like bingo, bingo, we got another one.
Scoreboard, the bingo, exactly. Tick mark. All right, so I don't think we have any more questions, so we're good there. Can I just pitch something here real quick to folks?
Oh, absolutely. It's your show. Let's see what you got.
So I did want to throw this out there. I'm trying to understand, where people are at with this. So if you go to oursuccessgroup.com/unlock, we have this monthly program. It's called Unlock Your Potential, and it is a 60-minute Zoom call. And yes, we do something really super scary. It's called a meditation. No, you've been there, Todd.
Yeah.
It seems out there, right? I get it. I actually spent 2-3 years probably going, oh, this is dumb. I'm not even really going to play along. And I now at this point, after getting to where I've gotten with all this stuff, go, oh my God, I wish I had those 2 or 3 years back because of the changes. Right. So and this was all that time where you remember when I was trying to put on that digital marketing superhero thing, right? I mean, I've been talking about that for years, and fast forward 2 or 3 years later, and here we are with our success group. We're doing some amazing things. You know, Todd's doing all these amazing, cool things too. It took getting over this limiting belief that I had about myself. And the way I was able to do it was through this process that we created in the Unlocking Your Potential workshop. And so that's why I'm so passionate about it, because I know it works. And that's why we wanted to do it, because we've seen the results. It's not like, oh, we hope this is going to work for you. It's going to work for you as long as you're willing to play full out and make yourself just a tad vulnerable. This will be a huge experience for you. And then we leave you with all the things to go back and do it on your own afterwards. In fact, we don't advertise this, but anybody who's been to one of our past ones, we send an email out each month telling them about the next one coming up, and they can show up for free, because if it's powerful for you and if it's working for you, we want to keep that momentum going for you. Again, you get all the tools that you can do this on your own too, but having that opportunity to get some coaching, some guidance, some other perspectives, it's almost kind of like a mini quick mastermind there. So anyhow, I bring this up because we have another one coming up on April 10th, which, what is that? Sunday? Saturday? Kylene, is it Sunday or Saturday? Do you remember?
I have this thing called a calendar.
I don't have one in front of me right now. I should have known this, but I was too passionate about
Can I pitch this? I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find out.
Okay. So it is a Sunday.
Sunday.
It is Sunday. And let me get the time here. It is at 3 p.m. Central Time. And so if you go to that website, Unlock, you can sign up for it and come check it out. See what you think about it. I will guarantee you that you will get something out of this if you show up and are willing to play full out. And if you show up and you're not quite ready for it, well, guess what? You get to come back for free as long as you want. So, somewhere down the road, that's going to work for you. We do it every month. We change up the days and times. So that way, hopefully we can catch everybody at the time that works for them, because we know that Sunday afternoon or Saturday or Wednesday night or whatever doesn't work for everybody. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because we talk about this a lot. We don't have a whole lot of people signing up because it's outside of the norm of what the industry is all about, right? It's not about the thing. It's not about how to do this Facebook ad. It's how to get beyond what's actually holding you back from the success that you deserve. And that's scary, but it's also very powerful. So I just wanted to pitch that real quick as we close this out here, Todd.
Yeah. And I think that's hard for everybody, especially in our industry where we think everything, it's not part of what the industry is. But this goes, it doesn't matter what business you're in. You need that solid foundation. And that's part of it, how can I say this nicely? Not getting over yourself, but, getting out of your own damn way.
There you go.
That's what a lot of it is, we need to go back to my 6-year-old's mentality that kid can do everything, and the only reason he doesn't is because I tell him no. And I'm trying to get better at that, because why can't, when I was that age, I could do anything. Exactly. And now why is it? Is it because I'm scared of what my peers might say? Am I scared about failure? I'll tell you, I'm not scared of failure. I'd rather do it and fail than to be like, what if? I'm not a what if guy. Hey, let's go balls out, and well, we're in jail. Well, hey, we learned that we can't do that.
But you can dig into all of those things on both sides of that table, because the reality is the reason that those things happen, right? We get to this stage in our adult life where things are holding us back. Something happened when we were a kid, maybe a young adult, that we don't even really remember the details of, but it's just sitting there. It's just sitting there, and it's that voice inside of your head telling you you're not good enough. You can't do that. Be careful. Don't screw up, right? All of those negative things that aren't serving you. And until you stop, and when you're ready for it, your body will let you know that you're ready to kind of work on that. And so this process allows us to go back, look inside at what that could be in a very safe and comfortable environment, and then take that experience, relive it in such a way that you rewrite the story. Because where we're at now, we're so much older and wiser. We've learned so many things over the course of those years, but yet we can't put them into play because we can't get past that story that we've been telling ourselves. So we have some ways that we can rewrite that story. And then over time, and like I said, at first I was totally against this. I thought this was loony. I had all of those things happen for me. And even after I really did it for the first time, it took a little bit for me to kind of realize that, oh my God, this is real. This really freaking works. So
I think something I can relate that to, that people, because it's kind of areas. At one time, we all thought that boys were ucky and girls were ucky, and then we realized, hey, they're not, right? They're not,
Yeah.
and and it's kind of the same way. Once you get past that, things start going well. So kind of the same way.
Yeah, but I think everybody's got a story, right? Even if you didn't have a lot of trauma in your life, and unfortunately, a lot of people do have traumas in their lives, or things that really felt like traumas to them. That but then they go, oh well, I mean, somebody else might think that that's not big enough to even work on or worry. But no, every single bit. I'll just quickly share what the big one was that was holding me back for a long time. I read the wrong Bible verse when I was an altar boy reading before the sermon at my church when I was a kid. And that kept me from saying, I'm good enough, I can do this. Because I was always worried that I was going to read the wrong thing, make the mistake, right? So you revel in the failures, and you don't want to be the what if guy. I'm the other side of that, where I had to have everything perfect, right? And that held me back for so long. And I didn't even realize, I barely remembered that thing happening. And when I went and did this meditation, that popped up for me. And then I was able to rewrite the story. And like even to this day, when I start thinking about it, I'll start tearing up. It's that emotional for me. So emotions are a good thing, right? It's what drives us, whether you like it or not. Emotions are what drives us. So if we can get our arms around the things that maybe are holding us back and learn to tell ourselves a different story, it's super powerful. So
yeah, it's like those old build your own story adventures that you would read. Hey, now's your chance to take that opportunity to skip to page 29. Let's just go.
Yep.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. So super powerful. Anyhow, we'd love to have you join us. As Kylene said here, it truly can be a game changer if you'll just allow it and give it a try, right? Maybe you're not quite ready to go all that deep, and that's okay, right? You'll have the tools. You'll be able to come back, and when something, what normally happens for people and what happened for me is I just got to that point where I was like, I'm sick of this. I've got to try something. And so I'm like, what the heck? I'll do this. And that's what happened. So anyhow, unlock oursuccessgroup.com/unlock. We've got dates set for the next 5 months. So if this Sunday doesn't work for you, come join us at another time down the road. Again, we switch them up. If there's a specific time that would work better for you, let us know. We're happy to make that work. So we believe in this thing so much that I'm willing to kind of do whatever. But this is one of those times, how I talk about customer service is not about bending over backwards for what anybody else wants. This is the one time that I don't follow that advice.
Well, sometimes you bend your own rules, sometimes right. you bend your own. Like me, I say, I'm not going to do everybody's artwork. And now, I'm not, hey, I do bend those rules for people that want to learn, because a lot of times I help them and then I don't see it again, it comes back good, so I think I'm doing it to better my future interactions with people. And totally. That's what I tell myself.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've gone a long ways. Todd, anything cool happening over there in your world? DTF running or ish, but you're getting stuff done for people.
We're getting it done. We will.
Great stories.
It'll be nice to be able to go through this experience here in another couple months to give everybody the full out. I will say this is that one of the reasons to buy from a company instead of importing, I know, yes, I can buy the same printer for probably half the cost if I import it directly from China, but I would not have half the service. That's for sure. I'd have no service on it, and I would be stuck. Buy from a distributor that is here stateside, or wherever you reside, whatever country you reside in, if find a distributor that can work with, because while we have had problems, we have had amazing service from our service tech team, and we've had amazing service from our vendor. And there's been multiple solutions that have been coming up to rectify the problem. And at the end of the day, I think that's where it always is. It's not in the initial sale; it's always in the follow up. And that's the same way we are with our customers. That initial sale is just the sale. What do you do after that? And that's where people keep coming back for more. How do you take care of them? How do you work? Because it's not like who we bought it from is just building them in their shop, and they're the ones who did everything with it. Things just happen. I didn't know. I don't know if you know this, but a lot of things come from China. And they come on these, they're put these things called boxes, and these boxes go into containers. And these containers go on ships, and everything gets loaded and unloaded. Is there a chance that things can be broken and not working right, and then maybe a connection comes loose? Absolutely. It's not your vendor's fault. I would say that 90% of times that people have equipment failure or equipment issues, it's on us, because we're not doing it right. The other 10% is there could be legit something wrong with it. And how you handle that situation totally dictates the response that you get back.
Exactly.
When you start going off on them from the get-go and don't even give them a chance, do you really think that they want to work with you? Yeah. They want to do the bare minimum that's required by what they said, but if you're willing to say, hey, I have this, what can we do? How do we do this? And, there gets to a point where you're frustrated. I get it. And they do too, because the last thing that any vendor wants to do is to have a frustrated customer, because that frustrated customer is going to go tell everybody how they got ripped off and this is the biggest scam ever. And the guys that are doing good out there very rarely get told, hey, you're doing a good job. Thanks for everything on that. So, we do our best on that. And I think for us, we'll continue to, I don't see any plans changing to not work with our vendor in the future. There's a lot of things that we had a great hour-long conversation today on ways that, in the future of different things that are coming up and things that we can do to help out. And I even looked at it, was like, I don't have a problem trying to fix things. So that way, if this problem comes up for other people, here's everything we did on it. It's just, it's first gen technology, folks. And these are the things that are going to happen. And, it's just part of it, and it's nobody's fault. You just keep going with it. So that's what we're doing. All right. Shiny happy thoughts. They're helping us out. Are we making the money that we could be making? Absolutely not. But we're not losing money. So that is always a plus, not losing money.
And then you can just be like me and not even worry about it and just send it all to Todd. And you got it, Todd. I got banners. I got printed wall vinyl happening. Man, I'm
like I said, there is the facility. One of the things that we're doing is, we're looking at different things this year, like total being able to offer print cut technology for people. So, and I'm talking, cut sew. So that shirt that Aaron has on, hey, there might be a possibility that we can offer that up to people. There's when you start looking at people as businesses and how you can partner with them, doors start opening. They're not your competition, they're your co-opetition, and sometimes things just start happening. And so when somebody says, hey, we have a 22,000 square foot cut sew facility, and if you need help with anything and you want to put a program together, we're there to help you on this.
Cool.
That kind of opens some doors where you're like, it does. Really? Well, let's see what we can run with this, because we do quite a bit of sports apparel, so why not see what we can do?
I got a customer for you already, so
we'll get her.
Yeah. All right. Kim Johnson, welcome. Thanks for being here. And yes, thank you. And it's custom. So
look at that.
It's got Montgomery on it. I got my number on it. I'm wearing this to play volleyball tomorrow night. So
sweet. I love full color cut and sew stuff. God, it is so awesome.
Really nice. Really nice. I love it. And it's so soft. Oh, okay. Todd,
now because there was a company that before they would totally do a new version of their logo every month, cut and sew, and they would do so if this month was just I'm not sure what awareness month is this isn't
autism awareness. April is
April.
Yeah.
Why was I thinking May? Oh, because we are in April. But so they would donate portions of the proceeds to their local thing. So breast cancer, they would do their logos and that, and it was always so cool to see. And they would if you did your teams in that style, they would donate a portion. And I always said, I want to do that. And then I realized how much it cost for cut and sew, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, but maybe now we can. So
that's right. That's right. All right.
Kim's asking you to back it up some. She wants to see the whole shirt.
All right. I'll send a picture of the shirt by itself, so you don't have to.
I love it. Love it.
All right. I'll post a picture in here of the whole thing. So,
sweet.
All right. Good deal. Excellent. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for spending an hour and a half with us tonight.
Yeah.
And we will see all the OSG community member squad club MOS at the Canva training next week. And then the week after that, we have our implementation call.
Mhm.
And then the week after that, we'll be back for the open community Q&A session again. So we will be gone for the next 2 weeks from Q&A. And we will be in DAX in 2 weeks too. So
2 weeks, we got that. We got morning mindset Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. We got that 8:30 Central Standard Time, Tuesday with Todd, Tuesdays 5 p.m. Central. You have Two Regular Guys Friday at 10 a.m. Central and the half at 11:30 Central.
Yep.
So we're here for you whenever you need to find us.
Yes, you can definitely find us. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Great stuff, Todd. Awesome as usual, sir.
That was a drink. Great stuff. Great stuff as a drink. I remember that one.
Yeah. But we're drinking water now. All right, so let's see. Let's try this one last. Gosh, I'm terrible at it.
I gotta go. This
I'm
way.
like super. All right,
Where
never
you-
mind. Good night, everybody. There you
Need a
go.
Target.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. We'll talk to you very soon.
See you guys.